do something and not wait.
Don't wait it out. And as everyone can see, there are resources available, and that's very important, and we're glad to see that. We will have a list of your regional resources at the end of this video. So John, if the parent does decide it's time to call the police, we need them involved, it's been that, it's gone that far, what will they do? I mean, are they going to come to the house and arrest the kid? I mean, what happens at that point? Do you know?
Well, it varies, obviously, depending upon what's going on in the house. But the important part is that the police will come, they'll assess the situation. But while the parent is talking to them over the phone, they can explain, my child is here, they're being disruptive, they're really causing chaos in the house, and I don't want them here. They need to leave, and I'm trying to get them into treatment. I really don't know. I'm desperate about knowing what to do. If the child is an adolescent or older, they may well end up getting into a protective custody piece. This is very difficult, obviously, for everybody concerned. I mean, the parents and the child, because then you start thinking, well, it could be a criminal record and so forth. But often what happens is that the police will essentially just let the person kind of cool out and cool down. The other important thing to keep in mind is that if a child is 16 years old, they may actually have a right to decide whether they want to get into a treatment program or not.
Okay.
And you may not be very helpful, or be very convincing as far as getting them into, say, a higher level of care. They may opt to go to some other place when what they really need is something more intense. If they're involved in the legal system actually has some leverage. Parents can actually file CHIN's petition, Children in Need of Services petition, to DSS. Now, the idea of DSS frightens most people because all they think of is people coming into the house and taking your child away.
Right.
But in this case, it really puts the child on notice that they are not going to continue on the way they are, and that they have a legal mandate to essentially comport their behavior. Another legal recourse that parents have, and I usually see this happening with children who are between 16 and 18 years old, is what they call getting somebody committed. Now, committed to a program through the courts. Another possibility for families who are dealing with a substance abuser is to petition through the courts. There are different sections in law which actually can help families get help for somebody who's not really interested in getting help, but whose life is deteriorating and who are either becoming self-destructive or they're becoming destructive to others. It's technically called a Section 35, and what it essentially entails is for parents to go down to the court, talk to the court clinic people, who can actually guide them through the process. It's not a very rigorous process. The only thing is that the family has to go down there and they actually have to talk to the court personnel about what's going on, and then what will happen is that the court clinic will petition to have a subpoena placed on the individual so that the individual can be brought into court, and a judge will determine, based on what they're hearing and what they're hearing from the court clinic, whether or not this individual needs to be committed involuntarily to some type of program.
Okay.
A lot of parents have used this quite effectively. The difficulty, of course, is thinking about putting your child again in the legal system, and then again the idea of actually forcing them to do something that they don't necessarily want to do. But quite often, again, it's best to have the child who's that disruptive out of the house, because they're already wreaking chaos on the family, and this is one of the few things that can actually deter that. And the child is legally bound, or the individual is legally bound, to to stay at the facility that they're committed to and see that through until that facility determines that they're either no longer needing services or that other services may also be required.
Okay.
At that point, the courts can also require somebody to continue on with treatment on a probationary status. Again, a very difficult concept, but it really works. And it's, again, with the mindset that it's an option for parents to get help for the child who's not cooperative, who in fact could be very combative and disruptive in the household.
What's the bottom line?
All right. Yeah, a lot of what we're talking about tonight is a lot of details about different situations and some of the options that people can exercise. And I feel very badly for parents who are stuck in this kind of situation, because it's a horrible thing to think about your child and substances. And it's horrible to think that those substances may in fact be causing a lot of disruption in not only your child's life, but also in your own. So a lot of what you've heard tonight is probably going to be important at some time if your child has ever got a substance abuse problem. But rather than sort this out yourself, it's probably better to contact a professional to be able to talk about what's going on, to be able to get the support and the encouragement that you need, and to be able, in order to be able to go forward, whatever forward means. So I just wish all parents could listen to what was some of the things that they've heard tonight and act on them. All it means is just picking up the phone and calling a local mental health center or a local hospital, your local substance abuse coalition. Anybody else who's in a professional capacity can steer you in a positive direction.
Thank you, John. So noticing the problem is your job, but from there we have people who can help you solve the problems, your support, where to reach out to. You can be helped with that, but make sure you notice the problem first and try to get to it as early as possible. Thank you very much for tuning into our video. Wanted to make sure I thanked Healthy Malden for making this possible, especially Jan Manoni, who's done a great job of coordinating this, Sal Khan, who has done all the videotaping and editing, Chief Coy, also Marilyn Belmonte and John Noyes, our other guests. And thank you, parents. We hope this video will help you to recognize any signs or symptoms that you may see in your children before it becomes an addiction. Good luck and thank you.